And I'm not muted. Great, great. Thanks everybody for your patience. We're going to get started. So thank you for joining. We're excited to have you tuned in today. Welcome to the Coinbase Developer Platform live stream series. Today we'll be hosting Udaf, who's CDP's Onramp PM. And then along with that, we'll have Josh. We have Josh and Madeline from Privy for a working session to discover how you can leverage Coinbase Onramp in conjunction with Privy's wallet infrastructure. So I'm your host, Bobby Lee, leading all community operations for CDP. And today we're going to run through an introduction to how embedded wallets work with Privy, an introduction to integrating Onramp to fund wallets, and building a demo app on Privy and go through how to add Onramp to your app. And then the most popular use cases, including stablecoins, dollar savings, trading memes, games, and etc. So before we get started, just a couple housekeeping notes. We will have a Q&A session towards the end of this workshop. So no need to raise your hand. Just put all questions in the chat on the right, and we'll get to them when we can. And we'll be monitoring that throughout, so ask questions at any time. And then please keep your questions relevant to the topic is all that we ask, and to be respectful to all speakers. And then, of course, like we always do, we'll be recording our sessions, and we'll post those in the YouTube channel in Discord. And we'll also make an announcement when that YouTube video is uploaded. So without further ado, I'm going to have us get started, and I'm going to hand it over to the Privy team. So I'll have you guys take it away.
Hi everybody. My name is Madeline. I am an engineer at Privy, and I'm going to be talking about Privy embedded wallets and how you can use them at Privy to use Coinbase Onramp in your application. So for those of you who don't know, Privy is an authentication and key management system. We're the abstraction layer between your application and the blockchain. So our developer tools make it super easy to onboard and activate your users. So Privy gives your users access to digital assets with login methods that are most familiar to them. Once they log in, embedded wallets can be automatically provisioned for your users under the hood. And you can use this embedded wallet as a regular externally owned account wallet, or you can go another level deeper and create a smart wallet for your users to sponsor gas fees. So then once a user has an embedded wallet, they can transact with this wallet in your app, and you can also enable apps to build on top of that wallet as well, so that you can create like ecosystems around your app. We've seen apps like Abstract do this, where we have a SDK that makes creating these ecosystems really easy. And then we also support fully programmable server wallets, which can be created and controlled by your application or any number of users with really granular policies. So for these wallets, granular policies let you enforce what actions a wallet can take. You can set allow list contracts or recipients. You can set like maximum amounts to be transferred and more. So that's like super flexible wallets without users in the loop. So the takeaway here is that there are a bunch of different ways to provision a wallet that you can use to manage assets on chain, from having an end user log in to trigger a wallet creation, or by creating a wallet from your application server. So once a user has a wallet, funding is the essential first step to activating that user. There are three core ways that funding happens: gas sponsorship, bridging, and fiat on-ramps. Privy handles all of these out of the box. So first, you can easily provision a smart wallet, like I said in the last slide, to sponsor gas for your user's transaction with our native smart wallet integration. You can also prompt users to bridge funds from one chain to another when they go to execute a transaction. Privy will handle all of the logic for that behind the scenes. And then you can even have users on-ramp fiat funds natively, like integrated within your app with our Coinbase on-ramp integration. So Privy integrates all of these funding providers so that you don't have to.
Just really quick, do you want me to be changing slides?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I haven't been changing anything, so just let me know when you want me to change slides.
Okay, we just missed a bunch of slides. Yeah, you can go to the next slide. This is like the login methods to embedded wallet that I was talking about. Next slide. And then this is the modal that you can use to transfer funds into that embedded wallet when it's created. Next slide. To all these providers so that you don't have to. This is what our developer dashboard looks like. You can toggle on all of these different funding flows to fund a wallet. Then in your application, you can prompt the user to fund their wallet according to this configuration. And I'll also call out you can use our funding flows with any type of wallet, including smart wallets, externally linked accounts, or a server wallet. Our funding flows work with like any type of wallet address. Next slide. We've been integrated with Coinbase Pay since the day that it launched. We're super excited about the Coinbase Onramp. The Coinbase Privy Onramp integration makes it super easy for you to on-ramp fiat currencies into tokens directly within your application. So with these flows, you can have users buy tokens and NFTs within your app instead of a user needing to bring a fully funded wallet to your app or go to an exchange to load up their wallet once they have authenticated. So you can build super seamless product experiences on top of crypto with this integration. So yeah, I'll let Udav take it away for the next Coinbase section.
Thanks, Madeline. And thanks everyone for joining. My name is Udav. I lead the on and off ramp APIs at Coinbase Developer Platform. We're building a full stack set of solutions for you as a on-chain developer or an app developer to offer on and off ramps to your users. And Madeline did a great job of explaining how awesome Privy is and how easy it is to integrate on ramp inside your existing Privy wallet, wherever it is and whatever your application is. And I wanted to talk a little bit about what Coinbase OnRamp does and give you a little bit of a summary on why would you want to use Coinbase OnRamp. So to start off, the product has been around for a little bit more than 2 years now, and we do billions in on-ramp volumes a year. So what does this mean? We help users go from fiat, their local currencies across 60 markets, to hundreds of tokens on their favorite networks. So regardless of where users are coming from, we want to be able to support them to deposit funds, whether it's through ACH or debit cards or their balances on their Coinbase retail accounts. And our goal is to handle all of the KYC and fraud work that you may have to do if you did this yourself, so that when you're working on building your app, you don't have to worry about any of this. And the awesome thing about Coinbase OnRamp is today we already power hundreds of your favorite on-chain apps below the hood. And we're going to talk about later today how you can integrate Coinbase OnRamp using just a couple of lines of code and in the Privy SDKs. Next slide. One of the most popular features about OnRamp today has been what we call guest checkout. If you could click play on the video, this is an example of an app called Moonshot, which allows users to go from fiat to crypto, specifically USDC, which also today has 0 fees. So your users can go from US dollars in their bank account, or in this case, their debit cards, using Apple Pay into USDC on your app. And this may be called digital dollars, or maybe called cash, or maybe called something different the way you show it to your users. But the goal here is for us to enable a super seamless fiat to USDC and crypto experience in less than 30 seconds. This is a relatively newer product for us, so it does have some limits, which we talk about here, and happy to go into questions about how to integrate this and how this comes available. The awesome part is to get access to this experience, just like Moonshot, Phantom, and a bunch of your favorite apps have, you just need to integrate Coinbase OnRamp, which Josh will be demoing in a second. Next slide. So I also wanted to share with you this demo application that we have. You can see a link here if you want to check it out yourself, see all the different things you can customize in our APIs. If you're looking for that level of customizability, feel free to check out the repo below and find the ideal way to set up OnRamp, whether it's for a specific state or country where your users are. And feel free to snag code samples from helpers.ts inside that repo, which shows you how to make API calls and stuff you need to do it. The nice thing about Privy, though, is they kind of do all this for you. So the next step is jumping into doing it live. If you go to the next slide, probably. So Josh is going to now demo a couple of things, I think starting with one of the applications that already leverages this awesome combo of an embedded Privy wallet with Coinbase Onramp. And just wanted to let you know, if you have any questions during or after, please either share them in the Discord. And if you want to find some time to talk to me and our Onramp team, feel free to take a screenshot or grab this link. We're going to share the stuff afterwards too, in case people have questions and just need more help getting started. But thanks everyone, and I'm passing it on to Josh.
Okay, I'm going to stop streaming so you can share, right, Josh?
Yes.
Attempt to share? Okay.
Hey everyone, Josh here from the Privy team. Let's do this. So first off, like I said, I want to show some of our customers that have this integrated sort of in the wild. This is Courtyard.io. They're an online digital marketplace for card packs, see Pokemon, sports, those kind of things. They're one of the earliest adopters of USDC as a rail for their app, and so they have this little card, this Courtyard wallet. This is a Privy embedded wallet under the hood, and I can click add funds, and their default is 25. I can change this. I can click Coinbase Onramp, and there it is, the Coinbase Onramp experience. This is buy or transfer the Coinbase, buy with debit card, as we saw. I'm gonna close out of here real quick and show just one other example. This is Abstract, one of our latest integrations. They also have, if you haven't checked them out, check them out. They're pretty cool. But here
This
I
is the
can
Puggy
click.
Penguin team, right, Josh?
Yes,
Abstract?
yes, they are.
Cool.
So this is a fully customized UI version. You click fund. This is not Privy. You click Coinbase. I have to unlock my wallet. Cool. That's a lot of ETH. Let's not do that. Click next and never do it live. Unfortunately, this one's not
Looks
gonna
like
work
your
today.
browser is just blocking the pop-up. You should be able to enable that on up top.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Yeah, same thing. Come here, buy with debit card, transfer with Coinbase. So
And then that
pretty.
debit card flow is what we were talking about earlier with guest checkout, right? So if you click that, you'll see it drops you into the Apple Pay or manual debit card entry flow. In case folks are
Yes.
often people ask us how do we get to guest checkout? That's what we wanted to drop into fastest, and since it's grown by 10x in the last quarter, we just want to make sure it's very clear to you as a developer what to tell your users if they're like, hey, what's the fastest way to do this? One of the things that I think you can also customize on the Onramp side is by passing a parameter to direct the users straight to Apple Pay. So you can kind of skip the first screen and potentially improve your conversion that way. And I think Privy can abstract a lot of this out of the box for developers.
Yes. So I'm going to show an example. Here we have a brand new Next.js create next app. Going to do some Food Network magic and pop in some changes to add the Privy library. So we have this funding button, just a few lines of code, wallets, fund wallet. Right here is the magic. You call fund wallet with your address, passing in the asset you want and the amount. And come back here, we have this button. Click that, pay with card, and pay with Apple Pay. So come here. I'm not going to go through this live, but you could put your phone number in. There's plenty of screens of how this actually happens. And yeah, you'd get 15 USDC right away. That's
Awesome.
for the screen share.
Could you go to your repo? Or yeah, could you go to the file and maybe walk through how that funding button works, what all customizability users and developers can have in the process, and maybe even chat through the docs a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So fund wallet, this hook, this method from the Privy SDK wraps, or Coinbase Onramp wraps some manual bridging flows as well, and allows you to fund any address. Like Madeline said, it doesn't have to be the embedded wallet address, although here it is. Asset, we support any of the assets that are provider support. So could be ETH on Ethereum or many L2s, could be USDC here. Amount, this is, if you want to pre-select an amount for your users so that they don't have to worry with more inputs, there's that. If you want to select a default funding method so that it goes straight to card. You can do that as well. And I'll just save this and come back here real quick. And when I click this now, it throws an error for some reason. Never demo live.
Okay, we blame it on Next.js and figure it out later.
Yeah. But yeah,
There you go.
there's,
Yeah, it took you straight to the guest checkout screen since you didn't have a session already on Coinbase. And let's say what happens if you replace that with Apple Pay? I know we're really teasing the demo gods here, but it's for default funding method.
The default funding method is card that sort of wraps card and Apple Pay. It's meant to be a bit platform agnostic, just to handle users on Android who don't have Apple Pay and things like that. So that if Apple Pay is available, it'll show up as an option. But in environments where it's not, it will gracefully fall back.
Awesome.
Yeah. Anything else to demo? This repo, this like little demo repo is live. I'll get the link to that for the chat afterwards. But yeah.
Cool. And I think there's a lot of different assets that one could put in here, but this SDK makes it super easy. So you could change this to Sol on Solana or WIF on Solana or your kind of favorite token that Coinbase supports today. And if people are curious about that, they can definitely check out our supported asset stocks. As I mentioned earlier, there's 270 something tokens where users can explore and pick which one to use. So depending on how much you want to customize the experience for your users, you can adjust that parameter in the SDK. Josh and Madeline, for docs references, could you maybe show a developer who's getting started for the first time with Privy, where would they go to find this and maybe just get started 0 to 1 in addition to the repo that you're going to share?
Yeah, I can share my screen and I can also send the docs in the chat. But all of our documentation is at docs.privy.io. And if you click to React, we have this funding section where you can get started with funding. It explains all the different funding methods, how to configure them in the dashboard, setting a default chain, and then when you prompt your users to fund, this is the method that Josh just talked about, and like invoking funding automatically. So these docs at docs.privy.io have everything that you need.
Yeah, if you could
Awesome.
link
And I know Privy,
able to see your screen. Just link that when you can, Madeline. Perfect. Thank you so much.
thanks, appreciate that. And we have between the Privy team and the Onramp team, if you're already here, you're definitely in our Discord. So your questions are probably dumping in the Discord Onramp channel. Privy team also has an awesome Slack with a bunch of builders who are working on new applications, ideas, just hacking on projects. And I'm also in there if people have questions about Onramp. So any support or any questions, you know where to find us. Anything else you wanted to demo or share about the customizability, Josh or Madeline?
I would say, yeah, we support any assets that are supported under the hood. We support any chains that are supported by our providers. Solana, Ethereum, Pol on Polygon, USDC, other tokens if the providers support them as well.
And Base. I think that's
Base.
increasingly
Yes.
popular one. Yeah. Awesome.
Is that it for you guys? I can start the Q&A session.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, cool. Cool. Awesome. Thanks everybody for waiting. I know we have a few questions in queue here, so I'll just kind of go through some of them. So is KYC required for Onramp? And if so, who does it? Is it Privy or a different service provider? Or the service provider?
Great question. So today, Coinbase has there's two ways to Onramp. One is if you already have a Coinbase account, in which case you may have already done some onboarding or need to complete your KYC or identity verification. which all happens through Coinbase. So you can either do this at coinbase.com or inside your application and mobile app. But for guest checkout, for users who are on-ramping less than $500 a week, you can, without a Coinbase account, go from fiat to crypto. And this doesn't require you to onboard in a heavyweight way. And we think that makes the experience less than 30 seconds, as you kind of saw in the moonshot example. So 2 different ways to do it. We're working on expanding our guest checkout offering to new countries and making it really available for developers who are targeting users across the world. So if you have any feedback on where you'd like to see that next, please drop it in the channel.
Okay, another question is the credit card through Apple Pay for Coinbase on-ramp in the works.
Oh, great question. As to kind of give folks a TLDR on credit cards. So historically, it's been tricky as an industry, speaking for crypto broadly, to get high authorization rates from the banks that sponsor your credit card. So these, you call them issuing banks. That's the bank that you have an account with when you go and make a purchase. For those banks to accept crypto has brought kind of a different set of risks, which we think are unique in a good sense for stablecoins, especially ones like USDC that Coinbase has helped bring from the ground to a $50 billion asset. And we're working a lot with the various providers in that supply chain, all the way from Visa to your issuing banks, to try to increase that. In the meantime, while auth rates are low, feel free to share any feedback you have, good or bad, on what banks or cards are failing, so we can better inform how we're going to talk to those banks and institutions to improve auth rates.
Okay, another question. Is there any way to use test networks for these sorts of fund wallet operations?
Great question as well. It's something that we're working on to ship in the next 2 or 3 months, where we'd have a sandbox environment. So you just have to set a network to testnet and use kind of test/sandbox bank information and person information to be able to do the entire end-to-end flow without needing a real card in a real place. In the meantime, either drop a message or create a ticket in our Discord, and I'm happy to test it with real funds to make sure your app works and you're confident enough to roll it out to your users. But really, also looking forward to that. It's a big piece of feedback we've gotten, to have a simple to use sandbox environment, and look forward to shipping that for y'all in the next 2 or 3 months.
So can you fund any token or only USDC?
As I was saying earlier, you can fund over 270 tokens. And as the awesome thing about Coinbase Onramp is, as we list the token on the exchange, it becomes available to you as a developer to offer to your end users. One of the really interesting use cases we've seen in the last couple of weeks is the Venice token, which became available on the exchange and was quickly similar to how Josh demoed the fund button. The Venice team also added a fund button, so their users can go from fiat to crypto, specifically the BBB coin, in less than 30 seconds, and then make that widely available for people to buy, and then also spend with Coinbase Commerce. So they can spend their BBB on off-chain transactions. So really awesome way to see the ecosystem come together.
A question for Josh and Madeline. Can you guys share just things that you're excited about and why you're working with CDP, and just, yeah, some interesting things that your reason behind working with CDP, and anything you're excited about building next with us?
Yeah, I can take this one. I think we really believe that all product experiences built on top of crypto should be super seamless. As I was calling out, like without a Coinbase on-ramp in-app, users have to bring their wallet to like an exchange, or like have them be funded in another way. So we're excited about working with CDP in the on-ramp team to be able to like embed that experience within the app, so users can like buy tokens and NFTs as part of a super seamless user experience.
Cool, thank you. Another question from the audience. I was wondering if there's a backend SDK for generating on-ramp quote and one-click URL.
Yeah, great question. I'm about to drop a link to the two different APIs that you can call. So we have one, which is a quote endpoint. And in the quote endpoint, you just need to pass the currency, the amount, payment method, and the country to return you a quote ID. And then you take that quote ID and pass that into the one-click buy URL, which I'll also send a link for, which will take your quote ID, your fiat amount, fiat currency, and then the assets that you want to default to. The awesome thing about using Privy, though, is I think they do all this for you. So you can choose that. You can set that in your Privy developer console, and that'll ripple through to the end user experience that shows up when you click fund. So in, I think, what was maybe less than 12 lines of code, the Josh code, you can get one-click buy integrated into your Privy app.
I think I got to all the questions from the audience. Do you have any more questions for Privy, Udav? Or wait, I do have one more question. You can go, and then I'll ask the last audience question.
Yeah, more than a question, I'm just really excited to see how fast Privy has grown in the last year, and want to make it super easy for new developers who are not trying to think about authentication and key management and funding, and realize how powerful a solution Privy can be across chains, across networks. And it's just awesome to see the applications that are getting built out with Privy. So as folks see them, like, feel free to shout out. I think there's a channel inside the Privy Slack as well about projects that people are building. And it's always great to go there to see and get some inspiration on what to hack on next if folks are looking for ideas or places to build next.
Cool. Okay, a couple more questions actually came in. So can Privy combine on-ramp and off-ramp seamlessly in-app for a cashback option in one transaction?
I can answer this, I guess. We frankly haven't seen a huge appetite for off-ramping from a lot of our developers so far, but it's something we're definitely, like, putting our feelers out, see if this becomes a more common ask, and definitely something we can partner with these other tools to implement.
I'll also call out that we are really excited about the work that Coinbase and some other providers are doing that makes it more desirable for users to hold like crypto or like USDC in a wallet. Like, people are super excited to keep assets on chain instead of moving them back into a fiat, which is super exciting for us to see.
Okay, and one more question. Do you expect Apple Cash through Apple Pay to work with Onramp? I've been getting a restricted merchant error.
This is a good question. Actually, it was brought up a bunch over the last week here at Coinbase, all the way from Brian himself about why we don't work really well for prepaid debit cards. So as you may know, Apple Cash issues you a prepaid debit card rather than a normal debit card, which creates some frictions on the risk management and fraud side for us. But don't have an immediate update for you there. Working on some solutions for this internally, but we'll get back to you once we make some progress here.
Cool. So you guys can keep putting questions into the Onramp channel, but we're going to close this out. So thank you so much, Udav, Madeline, and Josh. It's been a pleasure having you guys. And to the audience, again, put additional questions in the channel that Ellie just posted there in the chat. Keep the conversation going, to chat with the team, and reach out to us at any time with any other questions related to Onramp, and any Privy questions too. We'll make sure to relay that to them as well. So thanks again, everybody, for joining us. Thanks for your patience in the beginning with the technical issues that we were having. And we look forward to seeing you at our next CDP event. We have a workshop tomorrow. So yeah, have a great day, everybody. Thanks again, and have an awesome week.